Hey guys, it's Dr. Cedric Lewis here from the Gen X Hawaii Dentist, or should I say Hawaii's Gen X Dentist. That's kind of typically how I'm known. But I'm coming at you for a new video just to share my thoughts, share my experiences, provide some inspiration, hope, and hopefully some frivolity to your life as we go along this journey together. The things I want to talk about today are hopefully some things that provide you some perspective, some levity, and hopefully some joy in your life, just to kind of get perspective on the journeys we're taking. I think so much of what we do tends to be somewhat of this kind of journey where we're constantly worrying about the future, constantly worried about the mistakes of the past, living in this world of fear and anxiety, which is, to be honest, kind of what everyone goes through. But what I would share with you is that there are some ways to help get through these things. There are some kind of learned skill sets that can make you feel a little bit more at ease, a little bit more grateful, and a little bit more comfortable in your own skin, so to speak. But before I go there, I want to first speak to who I am, what I'm about. Hopefully you've seen a couple of my videos, but again, name is Dr. Cedric Lewis. I'm the founder and owner of Kokua Smiles. We are a successful group dental practice made up of 4 locations across Oahu. We've had incredible success, but it's been based on amazing people and a core value of serve people better. I'm so proud of the people we actually work with and so happy that we've been able to impact our community in a way that's literally changing the dental practice landscape. We're open 7 days a week from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday, and we're open Saturdays and Sundays from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Not because we just want to work on more teeth, because we know that's how you serve people the right way. We're available when you need us. We're available for your convenience, and we believe in service first, not just for our patients, but for our team and our community. So, going back to some things we've talked about that may provide you guys some hope, some help, and hopefully some levity along the way. And what I want to start with today, maybe providing you guys some ways we used to cope in the old days, right? So I'm a Gen X guy. I was born in 1969. I kind of grew up in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. So I want to share with you some funny stories about that kids maybe now would have no clue about what we're talking about. So one of my most favorite memories in the 1970s was the shag carpet. Now I grew up in Hawaii. I grew up with a wonderful family. I had a brother, Staunton, still around, younger, lives in Japan, and 2 wonderful parents who were amazing to me, Harriet and Norman Lewis. And we lived in a little house in Hawaii Kai. It wasn't fancy. It was in a place called Hahaione Valley, place in the back of Hawaii Kai, beautiful little cool environment that was tucked up in the hills. And we had the quintessential 1970s house. We had the shag kind of red carpet that would look like basically, for lack of a better term, a mini jungle that you would find the flea circus living in. And what my brother and I used to like to do on this shag carpet is play football games, because it was literally like playing in an outdoor turf. And one of the funny things we enjoyed so much about playing on this shag carpet is we could take a whipping and still come back with it, because that shag carpet kind of absorbed just about anything. So if you can imagine these 2 rambunctious little kids jumping around doing flips and taking big hits playing football indoors, but still coming back to more, you can pretty much tell we weren't playing on wood floors or tiles or these laminate floors you see in today's houses and offices that seem so slick. But back in those days, it was all about the shag. And what do I remember about the 80s? Well, the 80s were funny, man. I got to be honest. The 80s were classic. It was the Miami Vice years. That's my big memory of the 1980s. We were all wearing pastels. We were all wearing these ridiculous white jackets without lapels. We had these peg pants with no socks and net shoes, if you can remember those days, for those who do. Talk about the fashion misfits. And if anything, I look back at what we do and I see what the kids are wearing now, what we did back then, and I'm making fun of them. And all I got to do is look at a couple photos from what I was wearing. They're way better than we were. The 80s, we had the big hair, the pastels, the funky 1980s fashion. It was all about Billy Idol. It was all about Duran Duran. It was all about big and bold and silliness. And we had no cell phones, but man, we had the brick phone. I didn't own one of those. They were too expensive. That's when they were charging you like $100 a minute just to jump on the phone. And we had the buddies who had those little brick phones walking around showing off to themselves, but making a phone call back home and quickly hanging up because it was costing their parents a mint. And what were the 90s like? Well, the 90s were my 20s. You know, I graduated college in 1991 from a great school called Lewis and Clark College in Portland, Oregon, before I went out to dental school in Oregon myself. And it was a great time. The 1990s were all about the grunge, man. It was about the Nirvana. It was about living that Seattle, Portland, kind of Northwest lifestyle, you know? And the 90s were a lot of fun, but it was all about kind of living this kind of cool, kind of sullen, trying to act as if you weren't depressed and kind of being cool about the same time. I kind of laugh at those times, man. The 90s were, as much as they were funny and as much as they were kind of this scenario of living that kind of grunge lifestyle, had a lot of fun doing it. So I often reflect on those kind of things, you know? I kind of think sometimes we get so caught up in the moment and we kind of regret these kind of, you know, these pasts that we have, these mistakes we made. And we kind of always get so worried about the future. What's the future hold? Well, what I do, it's a skill set. I mean, I've learned to do this and it's really helped me. It's when I look into the past, I tend to look at it from a nostalgic point of view. I look at the funny things that happened. I look at what could have been different, but at the same time, I'm enjoying the fact that right now there's this crazy alarm going off next to me, but I'm still enjoying talking to you. But long and the short of it, that's what's really helped me define being happy, grateful, not being caught up in a situation where I'm living with fear and angst and living with the regret of the past, because I really look back at those kind of things and really relish and enjoy the fun things that happened, the fashions, the silliness that I did, the things that we all did back in those different generations. But also looking forward to the future and not being afraid of it because I've got this far, right? I mean, if we really look at to a little bit of a looking glass way of looking at it, we've gone through some stuff. And the fact that you're still here breathing good air means you've done something pretty good. And we should be grateful for that. So I guess what I want to leave with you today is I've talked about in the past of like getting into an environment of being grateful for things. But I also want to get you to the point where you really enjoy the journey, and rather than looking at things with regret and the what ifs and I could have done things differently, like enjoy those experiences because they made you for what you are today. And you are great, and you're going to get better. And there are going to be more challenges and more failures and more things you're going to run into that create adversity. But you've been through it, and you're going to get better because of it. So I want you all to kind of understand that we don't have to mire ourselves in situations that make you live with fear and angst. Instead, have a perspective of hopefulness, have a perspective of gratefulness, and think about others a lot more than yourself more often. You'll find life gets a lot easier that way. So that's it for me today. Again, Hawaii's Gen X Dentist, Dr. Cedric Lewis, come talking to you. Hope you enjoyed that perspective. Hope you enjoyed the view of my backyard and some of these tropical plants behind me. Have a wonderful day. I'll talk to you guys soon.